Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice. In today's episode, we're talking about growing your business, scaling it using content, using AI. We're going to be all over the place, but I promise it's going to help you grow your business at the end of the day. I have a very special guest, Nathan Newberry. Welcome to the show, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hopefully we can get some good insights for everybody here.
We'll do our best. It's kind of on you, though. No pressure, right?
That's right.
No, we're gonna have fun here. This is a topic that, you know, people listen to the show because they want to figure out how to grow their business. They want different ideas, and you have a very interesting background. But let's start with content and scaling your business. That's really the core of what we're talking about today. We actually just had an episode about creating content and not making it crazy hard. Where do you fit on creating content in your business? What's your strategy?
Yeah, I mean, the strategy is to do it. Most of the time people don't, you know?
Amen.
Here's the other thing is the importance of like why they would, right? There was a mentor of mine. He had a time to go spend with Richard Branson, you know, on Necker Island. He's the guy with Virgin Air, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Records, all that guy. He has 400 plus companies. And he asked, hey, what's the most key thing for success? He's all branding is really important. And so this is really where, when you're looking at building a personal brand and a personal online, you know, accounts from social media and everything, you got to build valuable content. So most of the time people, when they're building stuff, they don't have that in mind. They're just putting like they're, you know, making pizza with their kids or something, and not necessarily the value that people would follow you for. So add a lot of value, create a lot of content, but leverage AI as much as you can to help you get 80 to 90% there. I think there's a big aspect of like people don't have enough time, but they got to prioritize it because they know they need to. And so this is really leveraging AI to really be able to buy back your time as much as you can to leverage it for content.
So. Yeah. I want to get to the AI piece because I think that's hugely important, especially today. Before we get there, though, because creating crap faster is still crap. It doesn't matter how fast you produce it. So
that's true.
When you're thinking about like your personal brand, your company brand, and what you're actually producing content for, how do you hone in on that to make sure it's actually something that, again, is going to add value? People are going to want to follow, like you said. But it's also true to yourself. Where do you go with that?
Yeah, authenticity is a big one. But most of the time that people have, they just don't know who they are or what their offer really is. And so they're just kind of winging it, and then it's not quality. So you got to know the pains and the goals that people have, and you can really create some amazing content around that. It's the content piece is the middle of the funnel. So there was an analysis, a report that Google came out that it's called the 7, 11, and 4. And what it meant was that someone to have like a good value from someone needs to spend 7 hours with them at 11 different touch points at 4 different platforms. So the goal is to be omnipresent, but also have content that's valuable on all these different platforms that people might consume content with. The big ones is like you can be omnipresent on every platform, but there's key ones that you want to be on. So like I use Instagram because it has good DM, you know, ways to chat with people. And then I love, you know, YouTube because it's a longer form. So it's like me doing a lot of reels is a 1-minute aspect for that 7 hours that someone needs to have with me, or I can send them over to YouTube with a podcast or valuable content from other videos that they give longer duration with, so they can have more value and authenticity with that person to really, before they buy anything or purchase anything. So I think the big thing is building a personal brand. So if there's anybody that has a brick and mortar company, or that has, you know, location based, or it's a global business that can reach anybody and help anybody, they got to build a personal brand. Because nowadays it's like, we're not really impressed by the bus bench or the bus or the billboard that has all the advertisements of the brand as much. We're influenced and we buy things from people that we like and trust, from the online people that talk about certain products or images or whatever, right? So this is really where you got to build a brand for yourself wherever you're at and whatever stage. That's going to be the key aspect. And so the question that if they do is you got to get clear on your offer, who you're helping, how you're helping them. And then you also have to position the content that's going to be valuable to those exact people that need that help with that transformation in your offering.
I'm curious to hear how you've done this in the past, because I know you've grown companies significantly, sold them. What was that process for you to really hone in on what your personal authentic brand was so that you could scale that quickly?
So I do this in a free workshop I give out to everybody. If they like that, they can DM me workshop and I can give this to everyone. But there's this Venn diagram that aligns trying to find someone's purpose. This is what people are here for. And it's trying to look at making sure your creator and you are dialed in, but you're aligning your skill and your experience with something that you like and you're passionate about, right? So many times people get into business they hate, where they're like, hey, maybe I have some skills. Let me give you a bad example. Like I can say I have skills and experience driving a semi truck, but am I passionate about talking about it all the time? Probably not, right? I don't have any experience. I'm just using that as an example, like the alignment of some things that you want to coach on or build a brand or an offering around is something that you love talking about. You can talk about it forever. You're at a party, you're at a friend's house, and they're like, hey, how do you do this? Hey, can you help me with this? Or, hey, I'm dealing with this. Can you do it? And then you could talk and chat and you walk away from that conversation and you feel good. You're like, man, I love that. He was a great person to talk to. Really, you were just talking a lot about the things that you're passionate about, right? And so this is really the synergy with all of those things of looking at your skills, your experience, and that, which then aligns to give everybody the freedom that they want, which is really, when you're looking at your time audit that you're doing on doing things that you like doing, you're making good money, and then you're impacting and helping people, which is the significance and fulfillment that we're all looking for. That's how I kind of define freedom, is really kind of when you have all those things aligned.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good way to think about it too, because you're right. I mean, so many people, they have a skill or they may think they have a passion, but then once you monetize it, it quickly becomes not a passion. Or even before that, if it's just something you're good at and you start getting paid for it, people can feel that. It's not really right. Authentic. It's not worth partnering or paying that person. So that's a good exercise. So let's jump over to the AI side of things. Let's assume you have something you're passionate about. It is your purpose. This is your jam, and you want to turn this into a scalable business, or you want to rapidly scale from where you are now. How does AI play into this, creating content that's in your human voice, but like you said, getting the 80 to 90% done so you can get your time back?
I mean, I think the big thing is the move to accept that AI is in everything now and to dominate it and become master technician with it. I think so many people have, either or, like, hey, I'm never going to use AI, or I'm using it a lot. Like, you got to use it. Set it as your new default browser. Anytime you would normally Google something, put it in chat GPT so they can give you a good answer or reference. I mean, I think that's the big shift with using it. But if you can hone in on what AI can do for you, it can leverage every aspect to buy back your time. So every tool that you use, leverage AI, every conversation. Like the way I help teach a lot of my students is you don't have a lot of time and you need to really hone in on what the valuable content is. And Chat GPT or Claude or whatever, AI feature that someone can use, they can leverage AI to help them craft probably 90% of their content, from blog posts to YouTube videos to reels, that can help them script out a game plan of what kind of valuable content would be for that ideal prospect. So winging it, you don't really need to do it. You can really have and leverage ChatGPT to get you 90% there, and then you can teach it your voice and style, and then you can really kind of hone in on that with all the content that you want to create.
So can you break down that process for people? Because I think a lot of people are accustomed to using AI. Whether you're using it effectively or not is a totally different story. But that's for really going through that process. I mean, before you even start training it on your voice, like how do you get it to even come up with a plan for your content, your social media, and act like a social media manager outside of saying act like a social media manager? How do you know what it's giving you is actually going to be effective?
Well, it has new memory to it now. So the more you feed it, the more it remembers you and your voice and your style. So I definitely do that with different projects that you build it out, but there's different bots you can design and create for specific things. And so for my clients, what I do is depending on their pricing, packaging, and offer and their style of voice and offering, we kind of customize that whole kind of bot for them so they can just type in content and it pulls from that memory. But it's just the prompts that you can design. AI is only going to increase and get better and better and better. And so it's like the conversation we say that AI will do now. In the next few weeks, it would just increase and change and evolve. But you just need to give it an identity and what you're looking for with key aspects of stuff. So it's like, hey, you are social media management, or you're the best coach in the world. I do this with everything. You can do this with your fitness, your health. Hey, I'm a landscaper guy, or I own a brick and mortar business. This is where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling. Where should I take it? How do I grow? How do I expand? And then on the content side, it's like, hey, I work with these ideal people. The average ages, I think, are between this and that. Can you do some research for me, this? And now you hone in kind of like an avatar, and you can get it even clearer. Like, okay, now here's my style of voice. So like, I'm from the West Coast. I grew up in San Diego. I surfed a lot. But I'm straight to the point type of guy too. So I tell AI my voice. I'm a West Coast style guy. I'm laid back, but I'm straight to the point. And now it knows my style of voice. And so when it writes things and it tells me or scripts things out, it will script in a way that it's my style that can really be saying dude and man, like I would say it. But out of context, you have to do it right. Because if I'm using it to leverage, having conversations with chat with DMs, because AI can help create those things. I can copy and paste a DM script and say, hey, I need help with this using the scripts that I have with, selling this person. What could help me with this? Or how do I book a call with that? And it will create a style of it based off of that person. If it's a girl, I'm not going to say dude or man, right? So I have to give it context, but I think there's different ways to like leverage AI for DMs, messages, blogs, scripting, everything. And I think you just got to play with it for right now until AI is going to help you know it even better.
I agree. And I'm curious how you're using it with the long-term intention of using it. So what I mean by that is right now you're training it, you're typing it in, but ideally you get that off your plate, right? I mean, if you want to scale your business, you have to be delegating things. Say it again.
I said, yeah, absolutely. Like as you grow, you build, setter team that's booking you calls. You have closers that, listen to their calls back and have ChatGPT be their sales manager to give them feedback. You have a media team that can find, good thumbnail ideas or titles, or, descriptions for videos or blog posts, for my team that manages my email and calendar will use AI to help me be efficient in my day. It will also help me with, managing my inboxes. I mean, it just everything. AI is going to just help us be more efficient, but it's the replacement side of things is like when you buy back your time, what are you going to replace it with? And that's where it's like, how can I add more value to the market? How do I expand? Or you get to do more flexible things, enjoy your life, go spend time with your family. Those sort of things.
Absolutely. So in the beginning or in that sort of crossover where it was you leveraging the AI, now you have your team stepping in. How much training and time went into actually building out the AI so it was competent on your voice, your style, to where you could give that over to somebody else and it really doesn't require you auditing and quality checking, so to speak? I mean, how should people focus on building these AI, both models and agents, if you get into that side of things, so that you could truly outsource almost everything that requires your voice?
I mean, here's the challenge that everybody needs to have. And I told my team this. I was like, in 6 months, half of you are going to be replaced by AI. I'm going to be replaced by AI. How can you not be replaced by AI? I gave everybody that challenge to do it. And I think the goal is, is you're going to be a technician with AI. So learning how to be irreplaceable with it. Because like you think about the video editor that doesn't use AI, the graphic designer that doesn't use AI, it's like they're gone. Within months. And so the speed of change is so prevalent that you have to adopt to whatever that is. And so I think the challenge is like, even if you have a brick and mortar business, it's like, how can you use AI with everything in accounting, in bookkeeping, everything that you do needs to be reframed around leveraging AI to get that freedom. And so like I told my team of like, it's so imperative that you use it and you find tools to help us be so efficient so you're not replaced. Because I'll help them find a position to lead people, right? The biggest thing that AI can't control yet is the EQ. And so in emotional intelligence of the people that you lead, right? And so, and that's why, building a personal brand of influence, we influence people, right? Like I sell people unlike I have to sell my kids in eating their vegetables and having protein,
I wish I could do that. I'll say that right now.
You know what I mean? It's just like we sell people on everything. And so it's important that we kind of look at leverage and how we communicate really effectively. And then how do we do our job as best we possibly can.
Yeah. I think this is it's the way we all have to rethink about what we're doing. And I mean, it's a good thing that AI is replacing these tasks and these functions. I mean, who wants to sit and create content for 20 hours a week? If you can get it done in 2 and then have somebody put the final touches on it, I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So if you or anybody finds the AI that can help your kids eat vegetables, please put it in the comments or DM me, because that would be amazing. But until that point, at least use it to build your personal brand, like Nathan's saying. So Nathan, I love this. I hope more people get on this bandwagon and we start to alleviate ourselves of the burdens, we'll say, of the things we don't want to do in our business. So this is a valuable conversation. Where do you want people to go to learn more about you, how you're using AI, how you grow businesses, and just everything you're up to?
Yeah, so I created a full checklist and a full workshop for everybody that wants to learn how to leverage AI and build a personal brand. They can follow me on Instagram and DM me the word workshop, and I'll be able to send them over that free resource to help them all out and give them the ability to really kind of ramp up the next steps in their life and their business.
I love it. Awesome. It's on the screen at Nathan Newberry Official on Instagram. It's also down below in the show notes. Make sure you click on over there. Nathan, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Harmonious at Lunch podcast. Make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you're on, and we want to invite you to join us in the Small Business Success Facebook group, our private group where guests and listeners come together to grow your business. We want impact-driven entrepreneurs who are ready to go to the next level in this group so we can all share ideas, collaborate, and grow our businesses together. Go to whatif.com/group, and we want to invite you to join today. See you on the next episode of Harmonious at Lunch.